Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Is this translation based on the old edition of Bhagavad-gita?
Because of the Samadhi?
No, because there seems to be a whole chunk at the beginning missing. It's shorter than the... You started off...
It is a revised edition, that's for sure. It's recently, last recent years, it's redone. English.
I'm just saying that you started reading the translation and very soon you mentioned Bhakti Rasamrita of Sindhu Srila Rupa Goswami, which only comes here, because it's right at the beginning. No, see the beginning of the purport? Yeah. So it looks like there's a lot missing in the purport.
Maybe you have to look together.
You have to check it and see. Don't want to miss any of Prabhupada's transcendental instructions, which are meant for the purification of the whole human society. When considering the verses of Bhagavad-gita, we always have to remember that Krishna was instructing this to Arjuna. But actually these instructions are eternal. They are meant for all persons in all times, circumstances and places. As Lord Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-gita. Want to put it up here, then we get better recording? Same. As Lord Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-gita, he spoke this transcendental science to Vivasvan, the sun god, many millions of years ago. So the context may be different whenever Krishna speaks Bhagavad-gita, but the instructions are eternal. Now, here Krishna is speaking of the presence of the Paramatma in everyone's heart. He's also standing right there in front of Arjuna instructing him. For Arjuna there was certainly no point in trying to meditate on Krishna within his heart, because Krishna was standing directly in front of him. Arjuna was, of course, a great devotee of Krishna. Now, in the verse previous to this, Lord Krishna speaks about a devotee who sees Krishna everywhere. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashami sachame na pranashyati. Tasyaham na pranashami sachame na pranashyati. The one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. And in the next verse, the verse which you just read, Krishna speaks about the super soul within the heart. But for Arjuna, again, there was no need to think of the super soul within the heart, because he always saw Krishna practically directly in front of him. So this instruction about dhyana yoga, or the yoga of meditation, is to meditate on Krishna within the heart. It is described as one of this dhyana yoga, or yoga of meditation, is described as one of the several processes of yoga. Yoga and meditation have become very popular in the Western countries. But very few people really understand what is its purpose. Mostly people think that yoga is good for health. And they have very little idea of what actual meditation is. Meditation is also popular in the original culture of this country, I would imagine. This country, Taiwan. Vipassana, do they call it that? Vipassana, that's a Buddhist term. No, alright. Okay, it's a Sanskrit term used in Buddhism for meditation.
Sink inside. He was saying it's like a sink inside.
That's the Chinese term, is it? Ne Kwan.
Ne is inside. Guan
Ne.
is like observing or watching.
Seeing inside, yeah. Alright, so seeing inside, that's a Chinese term for meditation.
No.
No?
Maybe for Vipassana. You said Vipassana, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, because meditation is Ningxia, right? It's not meditation.
So what's that seeing inside?
那个那个什么说？
内观，你们怎么来说？
内观。
是翻译是。Vipassana, he says Vipassana.
You know the term Vipassana?
Yes. I experienced that meditation. They call it in Chinese
Nei Kwan means seeing inside. So here in Bhagavad-gita, Lord Krishna describes what's inside. How far can we see? There are various meditation techniques. Actually, there are very many different techniques. In the Western countries, the Zen Buddhism is well known. Zen, this term is actually derived from dhyana.
From dhyana.
Dhyana, meditation. So it is a system of trying to awaken enlightenment. That suddenly one can become enlightened. And there are famous points of meditation or concepts that one can meditate upon.
Famous point, the body
Concepts,
point.
not body points. Concepts.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful in translation. The word can mean different things. Yeah, various concepts. One of the most famous is to meditate on the sound of one hand clapping.
Happy.
Clapping.
One hand clapping.
Oh. Yeah, just try to clear up.
Which is a paradox.
Paradox.
It's a dilemma, how to... Paradox means like a dilemma.
Dilemma.
No, paradox is not saying... paradox means like a puzzle in this... Because clapping by definition means bringing two hands together and making a sound. And it's not possible to clap with one hand. So it's something like talking about a square circle.
Square circle.
Yeah. Circle by definition is not square. So to talk about a square circle is, in ordinary parlance, it could be called nonsense. So there are these various puzzling concepts to meditate upon. However, the system of meditation recommended herein by Krishna is not based upon absurdities, but upon a systematic method of acquired spiritual knowledge. In other words, the guru, who is supposed to be a self-realized soul, explains to the disciple the nature of spiritual reality, and then trains the disciple how to become in harmony with the spiritual reality, with the understanding that all problems in this material world are caused by disharmony. That we are, each person is an individual living soul, and we have our natural, spiritual, harmonious relationship with the Supreme Soul, who is known as Krishna, which means the all-attractive Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now that Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated within everyone's heart. Not that, it doesn't mean that everyone is Krishna. but it means that everyone has an eternal, harmonious, loving relationship with Krishna. Krishna is eternally the master of everyone, and every individual soul is eternally the servant of their loving master, Krishna. And harmony or self-realization means to understand the presence of Krishna in every living being.
Realization of the... Sorry, I missed this sentence.
The realization of Krishna within the heart of every living being. And of every living being's eternal loving relationship with Krishna. Lack of understanding of this point means there must be disharmony. Instead of realizing that we are servants of Krishna, if we think that I am the master of material nature, then this is certainly going to cause disharmony. This disharmony is manifested as all the problems in the material world. The repeated birth and death of the living soul is simply due to not accepting the reality of Krishna's overlordship. So real self-realization means to understand ourselves in relationship with Krishna. So the Guru is to teach this to the disciple, and then the disciple meditates upon Krishna within his heart and his eternal relationship with Krishna as eternal servant. And seeing Krishna within everyone's heart, he also sees Krishna within everyone's heart, which means that he can never mistreat anyone. This is described in the next verse. At-lopam yena sarvatra samam pashiti yojona sukham vaya vivadugam sayogi paramo mataha. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. So, the Krishna consciousness of meditation is first of all to understand what we are supposed to be meditating on. At least to some extent we should try to understand Krishna. We cannot fully understand Krishna because Krishna is unlimited. But we can understand Krishna to the extent that he describes himself in Bhagavad-gita. Now, another important point is that Krishna is not simply a subject to be understood, nor is Krishna simply an object to be meditated upon. But Krishna is a person to be loved. Although he is in everyone's heart, still he has an eternal relationship with every soul. Considering this system of meditation is not considered the best system of approaching Krishna. Meditation is good if we wish to remain somewhat aloof and neutral.
Aloof from neutral.
Aloof and neutral from the subject of meditation.
Sorry, because interruption, so you can speak complete again.
Okay. Meditation is a process in which the meditator remains aloof and neutral from the object of meditation.
距离 aloof 然后变成中立性的情况 neutral 对
Aloof means not involved. Not involved means meditate that you can see within the mind's eye, you can visualize or conceptualize, but you still remain somewhat removed from that object of meditation. There is no commitment, there is no relationship, there is no love. Or, if there is love, it is in the most vague manner. In fact, meditation, as it is most as it is usually conceived of, means to enter into an undefined state of consciousness.
Undefined.
Yeah.
Oh.
The perfection of meditation is generally understood to mean to have consciousness which is merged into the totality of everything. This is very different to meditation on Krishna, because Krishna is everything. But to understand Krishna fully means to understand how he is everything. How he is everything and simultaneously separate from everything. Ayata tamidam sarvam jagadavyaktam murtina atsthani sarvabhuktanam nachaham teshvasya. Krishna says that everything is within me and I am within everything. Still I am aloof from everything, nothing touches me. So this is a little difficult to understand. In fact, it cannot be understood by material intelligence. It can only be understood by spiritual intelligence. And spiritual intelligence doesn't come by any material means. There are various exercises one can perform to increase one's material intelligence, just as one can perform exercises to increase material bodily strength. But even very great material intelligence cannot even begin to approach understanding of Krishna. Even such a great brain as Professor Einstein couldn't begin to understand Krishna. Even the brain power of Einstein multiplied by 1,000 times is far insufficient to begin to understand Krishna. There's an entirely different process of meditation required. That process to understand Krishna is to not remain aloof from him.
Not aloof from him.
To not remain aloof from him. One has to get very much involved with Krishna. And they say, well, how is that possible? Krishna is very great and we are very small. Krishna is supremely pure and we are contaminated. But you have to remember, Krishna is not just a principle, he is the Supreme Person. And he is the most kind and loving. So he reciprocates with devotees who appreciate him in love. And it is this development of love that places Krishna consciousness in a higher category than any mundane process. So Krishna consciousness is higher than any other process of self-realization. Because Krishna consciousness introduces us to transcendental love. Now, in the impersonal system of meditation, one becomes, first of all, detached from any kind of material, loving relationship.
Detached from all kinds of...
She's telling. Personal loving relationships are rejected as illusion. And the meditator is encouraged to develop a sense of cosmic love. The concept of cosmic love is quite impractical. Because love means interaction with persons. Love means relationships. So if we say cosmic love without any specific relationship, it's rather vague. Love has to be expressed through action. That's why we find that those on the path of meditation are often advised to perform activities that demonstrate their love for others.
Those who are meditating
on the path of meditation are advised to perform activities demonstrates their love for others.
Demonstrate.
Such as arranging to feed the poor.
To feed the poor.
And acting with kindness towards others. However, the danger of this is that we again come down to the mundane platform. Simply by being nice to others, simply being nice to others on the mundane platform is good, no doubt. It's certainly, behaving with kindness towards others is certainly better than dealing with harshness. However, unless we have actual knowledge of what is the higher platform of transcendental love, then simply being nice to others will be a mundane exchange. So, actually to come to the spiritual position, it is necessary to understand Krishna. Krishna means he who is transcendent to all material situations. Krishna means that person who we can reciprocate love with eternally. We develop loving relationships in this material world, but they always end in disappointment. There are many ways in which love is betrayed in this material world. Just yesterday, or it's actually 2 days ago, I can't really work it out, when we crossed the international Taipei. It's very strange. Anyway, on Sunday in Los Angeles, one man was visiting the class saying, well, how do you love someone you discover that someone you thought you loved, they've been siphoning off your money secretly for the last so many years, then how can you love such a person? He said that worse than that the money is missing is that someone who I considered I loved was just making a show of loving me to cheat me for years and years. Well, how can you love such a person? It makes us feel that someone who's been cheated like that, they may feel that there is no such thing as love whatsoever. Well, actually there is no love in this material world. Even if we have honest and faithful partners, that relationship must be terminated by time, in the form of death, which is why probably many people prefer an impersonal kind of meditation. If there's no person to get involved with, then there's no person to disappoint you either. The pain of being disappointed or the pain of separation by death is averted if one simply loves everyone in a vague manner.
In which manner?
Vague.
Vague manner. Okay.
But that vagueness again means there's lack of focus or actual love. So Krishna consciousness is very practical. It means to love that person who will never disappoint us. That person who is inside and outside of everyone, yet transcendental to all. That person who is so great that millions of universes come out of his poreholes. Well, he's so great and I'm so small. Then how can I have a relationship with him? But another manifestation of his greatness is that despite being so great, he makes himself available to every jiva. Another symptom of his greatness.
Available? How
he makes himself available.
Make himself available.
This relationship with Krishna is very real, tangible. Devotees who start to give themselves to Krishna can start to perceive the presence of Krishna in their very lives. This is affected by the process of Bhakti Yoga. This is a process of what can be called active meditation. Generally we think of meditation as sitting in one place very quietly and meditating on the oneness within, stillness within. The Krishna conscious meditation means to be active in this world while meditating on Krishna's presence within it. And to understand that Krishna is present everywhere within this world. But He is also simultaneously in His own spiritual abode. That describes His being present in every universe and also in His own spiritual planet. So actually, although the meditation sisters recommended in this chapter, as described in this chapter, it is not as effective a process as the process of direct Krishna conscious meditation, especially in the modern age, where it's very difficult for people to meditate in such a manner that their minds are totally withdrawn from anything, from all different kinds of sense perceptions and thoughts. Krishna conscious meditation is active meditation. That means working for Krishna in the world and remembering Krishna at all times. For instance, if one goes to distribute books for Krishna, that might not seem like meditation or yoga. That one goes out into a busy street where people are thinking of money, 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 money and money. And to offer people books about Krishna. It would appear that the devotee is also thinking of money, how to sell this book. But actually the devotee is thinking how to serve Krishna. And this is the best kind of meditation. If one can see Krishna in the heart of a big city, that is a superior process to running away from all the cities to try to get peace. It is a process in which we have to pray to Krishna to get His mercy. So this brings the devotee into very intense meditation on Krishna. This intense prayer to Krishna, this is the essence of all meditation. So this is the recommended process, particularly in this age. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nasreva, 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 gatiranyata. In this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way for spiritual perfection but to chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name of Lord Hari Krishna. I may wonder, well, what's this going to do with meditation? Make a big noise. But, as stated before, this serves fully the purpose of meditation. Meditation is meant to get in touch with our innermost reality. So that topmost, inner reality, outer reality, complete reality in all respects is Krishna. And chanting the names of Krishna brings us into immediate contact with Krishna. So please chant Hare Krishna. That will help everyone in every culture to understand Krishna, which is the ultimate perfection of life. Just as Arjuna was standing before Krishna in a loving relationship with him, we can also enter into a loving relationship with Krishna by chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any question about this? You have a question. You don't believe what I said?
I do my best.
You're supposed to be preaching this.
No, I do have a question. Just not so much you believe in what you said.
It's all right. We know that you're fully convinced.
Well,
just making some question for the elucidation of the subject matter.
no, Maharaj, you said that Krishna conscious person, he sees this Krishna in every living being. How one exactly, does one respect Krishna in the person who you have tried to love for such a long time and you must stole all the money behind your back?
Oh yeah, I was supposed to explain that. Well, I'll tell
How
you.
do you see Krishna in me? Of course, this is just one example, but there's so many cases where
There's so many. Yeah.
don't make it so easy to actually understand.
How does the pig see the butcher, Krishna in the butcher?
For instance, like that. Could you speak something on that?
Well, I said to this person that I'll tell you what I said to him. Yeah. Seems everyone understands by the laughter of the jokes.
Not everybody.
1-2% maybe.
So, how do we see Krishna in persons which are in not such good standing behavior? Like, for instance, the example Maharaj used, that the person
Who cheated.
cheated by somebody.
In person.
No. How do we see Krishna in such people?
Well, we should understand that Krishna is in everyone's heart.
You shouldn't think.
We should understand that Krishna is in everyone's heart. But that persons of wrong intelligence, they are completely forgetting and ignoring Krishna. And persons who act wrongly, it's not that Krishna is acting wrongly, because he gives us the choice to act properly or otherwise. Now what I said to this man was that, well, from the philosophical point of view, we might think that, well, maybe I cheated him in a previous life, so now I'm getting back.
就像
But
他
I
讲
knew
的
him or her
问
wasn't
的，
clear. One who is advanced in spiritual knowledge, when he finds that someone's been cheating him like that, he may think that Krishna is showing me the nature of material life. That Krishna is removing my attachment to wealth, and he's also removing my attachment to the concept of pure love within this material world. I gave the example of Srila Prabhupada, who was cheated by his servants. Prabhupada in his Grihastha life was running a chemical factory, but at some point when he was out traveling for getting sales, he got a telegram that his servants had cheated him and now he had lost everything. So Prabhupada quoted from Srimad Bhagavad-gita that Yazyahamana Grahnami Harishri Tadyanam Shanai what was that? Tyajantyasya Tadyanam Tyajantyasya Swajana Dukha Dukitaha. That Krishna says, if I'm very kind to someone, sometimes I take away all their material possessions. And perceiving him as penniless, his relations abandon him.
It's relationship.
So I said to this man that, no, if this shock is the impetus for you to take up Krishna consciousness very seriously, if it's kind of half sentence. Let's rephrase it. This shock could be the impetus for you to take up Krishna consciousness very seriously. Understanding that there is no real material love, one should endeavor for the actual spiritual love, which means love of Krishna. And that I said to this man that if you actually do that and develop Krishna consciousness, then you may look back and think that this person who cheated you was in one way your greatest friend.
Please, anybody who have any questions, don't be shy.
不要害羞，有问题的话，请发问。
Anything? Thinking about asking a question?
有没有人想到问什么问题？
No?
What is the base of our love for Krishna? What's the ground? How we start?
The basis of our love for Krishna is the knowledge that He is our supreme eternal benefactor, and that we have no real relationship except in relationship with Him. Now that doesn't mean that a devotee becomes a hermit, but rather he learns to love all living beings, seeing them as part and parcel of Krishna. This consciousness naturally develops as we chant the holy names of Krishna more and more. It's very nice to know that there is Krishna, He's looking after us. This material world is very cruel. Humans are cruel to animals and to each other, and fate is very cruel.
Fate.
Fate.
Destiny.
Destiny. There must be a word. There must be a word, yeah, for that.
命运. This is karma.
But karma, yeah.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, understand.
But karma, destiny, there are different words in Sanskrit also for fate, and the two are almost the same, but daiva, or what is translated as fate, means that which is the karmic reactions. If we say karma, it gives the idea of some kind of automatic reaction. But daiva gives this, or fate, means that there's
no other way.
Means that there's some system. There's some system. It's not just blind. Fate actually means justice. We're getting what we deserve. So please take shelter of Krishna. Krishna will never disappoint us. In fact, when we develop Krishna consciousness more and more, we see the difficulties of the material world as Krishna's kindness. That Krishna is kindly sending this difficulty, just to remind me that I have no shelter in him. So we shouldn't think of Krishna as someone who arranges for our material comfort, but rather Krishna is the most kind, loving, supreme person, who helps us to give up all our material attachments, so that we can become fully attached to Him in transcendental love. So the nature of this material world is that there are various distresses.
They are very...
But Krishna consciousness gives us the vision and strength not to be disturbed in the middle of these distresses. Yasmin stitam nadukena gurunapi vichalyata. One who is situated in transcendental consciousness is not disturbed, even in the midst of great causes of disturbance. Hare Krishna. So you're all regularly coming to this temple, is it? I would think so.
95% of the people today are still there.
We're all feeling more and more happiness in Krishna consciousness. Anandam buddhi vardhanam patipadam purnamrita svadanam. This is Krishna consciousness. Always more happy, tasting nectar at every step. What does he say?
I say what he loves. He say he smile because he got the nectar.